Hi Year 1, it's Miss Andrews here for our handwriting session this week. Okay, so we have been practicing our curly caterpillar lessons for the last couple of letters for the last couple of weeks. So we started with a, k and a. Then last week we did d, g and q, and then today we're going to finish off those curly caterpillar letters with our s and f. Okay, now just like before, I'm going to do the first section with our standard handwriting, and then the second section will be our cursive handwriting. So if you want to practice that, then that's your opportunity. So just like before, our curly caterpillar letters all have in there somewhere the letter k. So once you've mastered the letter k, the curly k, then you should be able to do all of the other letters, as they all either start with the k or have the k in there somewhere. Okay, so we are going to start with the letter E. Now, when we do our letter E, the curly cut is still in there, but it's not at the beginning. Okay, so watch me. I'm going to start with my pen in the middle of the line. I'm going to do a line across, and then I'm going to do my curly cut. Okay, I'm going to do a line across and then my curly cut. Can you see? So I do my line across and then I start my curly cut. Okay, line across, then my curly cut. Line across, then my curly cut. Line across, then my curly cut. Now, the letter E is often a letter where children may do lots of different ways of doing it. They may start at the bottom and go round, or I've seen some that sort of do an E like that. So it's really important that we try and practice to do it properly this way. Okay, so line across and then our curly cut. Okay, so I want you to have a go at practicing your E like that with our line across and then our curly cut. Okay, so pause the video, have a go, and then come back to our next letter. Okay, our next letter is the letter S. Okay, now we're going to start back with our curly cut again. Okay, so, but this time our curly cut is slightly smaller. So we start at the top of the line, we do our curly cut, and then we go back round. Okay, so can you see how the curly cut is at the start of this, but obviously it's a lot smaller because usually our curly cut would fill the whole space, but this time we're going to do a mini curly cut and back round. Mini curly cut and back round. Mini curly cut and back round. Now I just want to have a look at this one, the way that I've drawn this one here. Now, can anybody tell me what number that looks like? Right, it looks like the number 5, okay, because what I've done by accident is I've made my first bit quite straight and straight. Okay, now that's not how a curly cut goes, is it? Okay, so a 5 and a S can look very similar, but the difference is with our S, it must be a curly cut and then round. Okay, it must be that curly. That's why these are called curly caterpillar letters, because they're curly. Okay, we don't often have any straight lines like our number 5. Okay, so let me rub these ones out because these ones aren't very good, and let me try and replace it with a one that's a bit more curly. So we want that curly cut and then loop it round. Okay, curly cut and then loop it round. Curly cut and then loop it round. Okay, have a go. See if you can have a go at doing that. Remembering that curly cut at the top and then looping it round. Okay, our last letter that we are going to do today is we are going to do a F. Okay, now a F and a S are very similar. Okay, but our F has a bit of a tail at the end. Okay, so watch again, just like with this, we're going to start with a mini curly cut. Okay, so I'm going to start with my mini curly cut. Oh, apologies. I'm going to start with my mini curly cut. Okay, and then I'm going to follow it down and a flick at the end. A mini curly cut and then follow it down. a mini curly K, and follow it down. Okay, can you see how we've still got that curly K at the top? Curly K and down. Okay, so we're still making our letter very curly. Okay, and notice where his tail is as well. Okay, he's under the line, isn't he? Okay, off you go. Have a go at the this time, and don't forget the flick across the end. Okay, let's have a go at writing some words now. Okay, so I'm going to write some words that have some of those letters in. They might have some extra letters in, but I want us to try and practice writing some words with them in, and it's not always possible to make a word out of the letters we've got. So the first one I want us to practice is the word fox. Okay, so we start with our curly K at the top, straight down and flick. Then our O, remember curly K and round. And then I know we've not done this yet, but then it ends with a X, fox. Okay, fox. Have a go at writing that word. So our curly K to do our another curly K to do our O, and then X at the end. Okay. Now let's have a go at the word sat. Okay, so again, we do our mini curly K. We do our A with our curly K. And then again, I know we've not done this letter yet, but we're going to have a T at the end. Okay, sat. Fantastic, well done. Okay, so have a go at writing those two words 3 times, each of those words 3 times, and try and get your letters exactly correct. And then once you've had a go at that, you can either stop the video here or you can carry on listening to some of our cursive letters. Okay, right. Let me clear this and we'll start doing our cursive letters. So I'm going to start with the sun in the top corner like normal. Just so we can remember to put our letters to go up to the sun. So that's a very important thing to remember so that we know that we are doing our letters in the right direction. Okay, so our first letter that we are going to practice today is E. So let's have a look at it here. Look, can you see? Now, I think this one's quite an easy one because you haven't got to go up to the sun and then back again. It's kind of one big movement in the same direction. Okay, but you have to be careful with the E because sometimes it can look a bit funny. All right, so have a look. So I'm going to go up to the sun and I'm going to carry back round to make my E. Can you see how that looks a bit funny? Okay, I'm going to go up to the sun and carry back round. Okay, see that one looks a bit better. You can see the E a bit more. Okay, although this is quite a lot easier because it's one fluid movement, it can, until you're very practiced in it, it can look a bit funny. Okay, so let's keep practicing. Sometimes it's difficult when you've not done it for lots of times to make it look like an E. So don't worry too much, because when you move on to joining all your letters together to make a word, it will look, you will be able to tell what it says. It will look fine. Okay, it will make a bit more sense. On its own, it looks a bit silly, but when it's formed together in a word, it will look a lot better. Okay, so you go up to the sun and then you carry on with your E. Up to the sun and carry on with your E. Have a go. Have a go. Okay, I know they don't really look like letters sometimes, but just have a go. Okay, that's how we do our cursive F. We have a look here. Okay, you can see. So just have a go. That's how we do our F. Okay, then we're going to move on to this. Are we ready? So up to the sun and we do our S. Up to the sun and we do our S. Okay, so just like I said before, don't take your pen off. Up to the sun and back on yourself. Okay, you almost go back on yourself and you don't lift your pen up. Up to the sun and do our S. Up to the sun and do our S. Up to the sun and do our S. Okay, fantastic. Let's have a look at our last one. Sorry, have a practice of that first and then we'll have a look at our last letter. Okay, it's going to be our F. Now this one is probably the hardest letter. So do not worry if you find this one tricky. It's definitely the hardest one. Okay, so watch me. Let me do it a few times first so you can just watch it and then I'll explain it. So we go up to the sun and we go back on ourselves. Okay, ready? Up to the sun and we go back on ourselves. Up to the sun and back on ourselves. Okay, so let me break it down a bit. We go up to the sun and then we almost go back on ourselves and do a bit of a loop, almost like a roller coaster doing a loop-de-loop. We come down and we do another loop-de-loop all the way back up again. Okay, and that, if we look at a normal F, okay, it's almost like we're joining the bottom bit here up and doing our flick. Okay, so we're doing our whole letter and our flick all in one. So we go up to the sun, we do a roller coaster loop-de-loop, go down, do another roller coaster loop-de-loop and cross. Watch again, up to the sun, do a loop-de-loop and another loop-de-loop and cross. Now I know this is very difficult, so don't worry. Up to the sun, loop-de-loop and another loop-de-loop. Okay, have a go. I know it's hard, have a go. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong. We are just practicing here, okay? Right, let's have a go at those words. So let's try fox first. So again, it's our F, up to the sun, loop-de-loop, loop-de-loop. Then we've got our R. And then I'm just going to do a normal X for now, because we've not learnt that one yet. Fox. Okay, fantastic. Now let's try sat. Up to the sun and back. Let's try our A from before, up to the sun, curly K and A. And then again, I'm going to do a normal T for now because we haven't quite learned that one yet. Okay, so again, have a go at writing those two words and see how it goes. Now, what would be quite nice is if you're getting a bit confident with some of the letters, in your English work or phonics work next week, have a go at using these letters. Even if it's just one, even if you think, do you know what, I've mastered the cursive A. When I'm writing words next week in my work, I'm going to try and use that A, the cursive A, in my work and just see how it goes, okay? It's all about practice. It's all about practice, practice, practice. Okay, then that's everything from me today. So thank you very much for watching and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.